Right now, your cat might be deceiving you. You look at them sleeping peacefully on the couch and see a picture of perfect health. But biology is hiding a deadly secret. Unlike dogs who whine for help, cats are biologically hardwired to suffer in silence. By the time a cat actually looks sick to you, the damage is often catastrophic and irreversible. This is the silent tragedy veterinarians see every single day. Owners miss the whispers of illness because they are waiting for a scream. Today, we will expose the 5 silent killers. 5 subtle changes that look innocent but are actually red flags for medical emergencies. And most importantly, we will reveal sign number 5, the one that 90% of owners ignore as just old age. If you want to ensure your cat lives a long, pain-free life, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Let's begin. Number 1. The social withdrawal. To understand why this sign is so critical, you first have to understand the baseline of your cat's psychological attachment to you. We often hear that cats are solitary, aloof creatures, but modern feline science tells a very different story. Domestic cats form profound, deep attachments to their owners, a phenomenon behaviorists call the secure base effect. You are their anchor. That is why they follow you to the kitchen, sit on your laptop while you work, or sleep at the foot of your bed. Under normal circumstances, a healthy, bonded cat seeks proximity to you because your presence represents safety and resource availability. However, when a cat begins to feel internally compromised, whether it is nausea from kidney issues, a low-grade fever, or deep internal pain, their instinctual drive shifts instantly from social connection to survival isolation. You might notice that your cat, who usually greets you at the door when you come home, is suddenly nowhere to be found. When you finally locate them, they are not just napping in a sunbeam. They are tucked away in unusual, dark, or secluded spots. You might find them squeezed under a guest bed, buried deep inside a closet, or crouching behind the sofa in a room they rarely use. This behavior is often misinterpreted by owners as the cat just being moody, tired, or independent. But you must understand the evolutionary reason for this. In the wild, a sick animal separates itself from the group. This is done to avoid attracting predators to the family unit and to conserve every ounce of energy for healing. If your cat is hiding, and specifically if they are hiding in a hunched position, with their paws tucked tightly under them and their eyes squinted, they are guarding their body against discomfort. They are trying to make themselves invisible because they feel vulnerable. If a typically social cat suddenly becomes a ghost in their own home, do not take it personally and do not assume they are just having an off day. This shift in routine is a massive, flashing red flag. They are isolating themselves because they are in pain. This ghost mode is often the very first indicator of conditions ranging from dental abscesses to organ failure. The change in their social availability is their way of telling you they cannot cope with the world right now. While hiding is an emotional response to pain, the next sign is physical, and sadly, it is the one behavior most owners punish instead of treat. Number 2. The litter box rebellion. This is perhaps the most misunderstood behavior in the entire feline world, and tragically, it is the number one reason cats are surrendered to shelters. You come home to find that your cat has urinated on your bed, your pile of fresh laundry, or the bath mat. The immediate human reaction is anger. We anthropomorphize them. We think, he is doing this to spite me because I worked late, or she is mad that I bought a new brand of food. You need to erase the concept of spite from your understanding of cats immediately. Cats do not possess the cognitive capacity for revenge. They do not plan ahead to punish you. When a cat urinates outside the litter box, they are almost always trying to solve a problem. That problem is usually pain. When a cat has a urinary tract infection, bladder stones, or inflammation known as cystitis, the act of urination becomes agonizingly painful. In the cat's mind, they do not understand that the pain is coming from inside their own body. They operate on association. They think, every time I step into that plastic box with the gravel, I feel a sharp, burning pain. Therefore, the box is hurting me. It is a logical deduction for them. So they avoid the painful box and look for a location that feels safer and softer. Your bed, your clothes, or a plush rug feel soft and comforting. They are hoping that if they pee on this soft surface, it won't hurt this time. It is a desperate attempt to escape agony. Furthermore, if a cat is suffering from joint pain or arthritis, stepping over the high sides of a litter box or balancing on shifting sand can be physically difficult. They might choose the floor simply because it is a stable surface that doesn't require them to jump or balance. If your cat misses the box, they are not being bad. They are waving a desperate flag for help. Punishing them, yelling at them, or using a spray bottle only increases their stress levels. And since stress is a major trigger for urinary blockages in cats, punishing them can actually make the medical condition fatal. If you see a mess on the carpet, do not grab the cleaner first, grab your phone and call the vet. A urinalysis is the only way to rule out this silent killer. A messy house is easy to spot, but this next sign is tricky because it involves something cats are famous for: being clean. Number 3, the unkempt coat. Cats are fastidious groomers by nature. They spend anywhere from 30 to 50% of their waking hours grooming themselves. This isn't just vanity, it is a critical survival function. Grooming regulates body temperature, stimulates circulation, removes parasites, and self-soothes stress. A healthy cat takes immense pride in their appearance, ensuring their coat is smooth, clean, and free of mats. When a cat stops grooming, it is never out of laziness. It is almost always due to one of two mechanical issues: oral pain or musculoskeletal pain. Consider the mechanics of grooming. To clean the base of their tail or the middle of their back, a cat has to twist their spine into a tight circle. They have to be incredibly flexible. If a cat is suffering from spinal arthritis, hip dysplasia, or general joint inflammation, that twisting motion becomes excruciating. It hurts to bend, so they simply stop doing it. They start neglecting the hard-to-reach areas first. The result is a coat that looks greasy, spiky, or separated. You might see dandruff flakes accumulating on their lower back or thick, painful mats forming at the base of the tail. Many owners look at a messy cat and think, "Oh, he just needs a bath," or "he's just getting a bit lazy." But the messy coat is just a symptom of the underlying inability to move without pain. The second reason is oral pain. Dental disease is rampant in cats, affecting nearly 70% of cats by age 3. If a cat has a resorptive lesion, which is essentially a cavity that eats away the tooth, or severe gingivitis, their mouth is incredibly tender. Using their tongue to groom their fur puts pressure on these painful teeth and gums. It hurts to groom, so they stop. If your cat's fur starts to look like an old worn-out teddy bear, or if they develop a staring coat where the fur stands up in clumps, their body is telling you that they are hurting too much to care for themselves. This is a visible manifestation of invisible pain. It is a sign that their quality of life has degraded to the point where they cannot perform the most basic instinctual task of being a cat. A messy coat is alarming, but this next sign is dangerous because it actually looks like a healthy habit. In fact, you might have praised your cat for doing it just yesterday. Number 4, the obsession with water. There is a dangerous misconception among pet owners that a cat drinking a lot of water is a good thing. We are told constantly that hydration is healthy, so when we see our cat draining their water bowl or sitting by the sink waiting for the tap to drip, we tend to praise them. We think, "Good job, you are staying hydrated." In reality, a sudden, noticeable increase in water consumption, medically known as polydipsia, is one of the most alarming red flags in feline medicine. It is the hallmark symptom of the big 3 geriatric cat diseases: chronic kidney disease, diabetes, and hyperthyroidism. To understand why this is a bad sign, you have to look at feline biology. Ancestrally, domestic cats are descendants of desert-dwelling wildcats. Their bodies are designed to be incredibly efficient at conserving water. They evolved to get the vast majority of their moisture intake directly from the prey they hunted. A healthy cat on a proper diet should not have a high thirst drive. Their kidneys are super concentrators. They keep water in the body. When the kidneys start to fail, they lose this ability to concentrate urine. They can no longer filter out the toxins from the blood effectively without flushing massive amounts of water through the system. So the cat drinks and drinks and drinks. They are not drinking because they are thirsty in the normal sense. They are drinking because their body is desperately trying to dilute the toxins building up in their bloodstream. They are literally drinking for their lives. The same applies to diabetes. High blood sugar acts as a diuretic, pulling fluid out of the body, leaving the cat chronically thirsty no matter how much they drink. You might not see them drinking every time, so the best place to act as a detective is the litter box. This is where the undeniable evidence lies. If you use clumping litter, pay close attention to the size of the urine clumps. A healthy cat's urine clumps are usually small and firm. If you start seeing massive clumps, the size of a tennis ball, a baseball, or larger, or if the litter box is essentially flooded with mud every single day, that is not normal. That is a sign that water is rushing through their system unchecked. If you notice you are filling the water bowl twice as often as you used to, do not wait. Kidney disease is manageable if caught early, but it is a silent killer if you ignore it until the cat stops eating completely. We have covered the visible warning signs, but we have arrived at the most critical one. If you forget everything else in this video, please remember this next point. It is the difference between a cat suffering in silence and one getting their life back. Number 5. The just old age myth. This is the most pervasive, the most insidious, and the most ignored sign of all. It is the number one reason older cats suffer in silence for years. We have normalized the idea that it is okay for older cats to slow down to the point of immobility. We see a decline in activity and we brush it off with a casual excuse. We say, "Oh, Whiskers doesn't jump on the refrigerator anymore because he is 12. He is just an old man." Here is the hard truth you need to accept. Age is not a disease. Slowing down to the point where they no longer interact with their environment is not a natural consequence of aging. It is a consequence of untreated pain, specifically osteoarthritis. Studies show that 90% of cats over the age of 12 have radiographic evidence of arthritis. That means 9 out of 10 older cats are living with degrading joints, grinding bone on bone. Yet, very few are on pain medication. Why? Because cats do not limp. This is where human intuition fails us. Humans and dogs limp when we have a bad knee or hip. We alter our gait noticeably. Cats are quadrupeds who are masters of biomechanics. They are experts at redistributing their weight. If their back right leg hurts, they will subtly shift the load to the front left diagonal. They will alter their stride in a way that is almost impossible for the human eye to detect. You will almost never see a cat limping unless the leg is actually broken. Instead of limping, they change their vertical movement. The silent killer here is hesitation. You need to watch your cat closely when they navigate their world. When they look up at the couch, the bed, or their favorite windowsill, do they jump up fluidly in one graceful motion? Or do they crouch, wiggle, look up, hesitate, look down, and then pull themselves up using their claws like a mountaineer? That hesitation is a calculation of pain. In that split second, they are asking themselves, is the reward of the soft bed worth the sharp spike of pain I will feel in my hips upon landing? If they decide it is not, they will stop jumping altogether. They will start sleeping on the floor or in low baskets. Owners often mistake this for a preference. They think, he just likes the rug now. He doesn't like the rug. He is sleeping there because his world is shrunk. He can no longer access the vertical spaces he loves because it hurts too much to get there. You might also notice they become grumpy or aggressive when picked up, or they sleep more deeply than usual. This is because chronic pain is exhausting. It drains the joy and energy out of life. The tragedy is that arthritis is very treatable. There are joint supplements, injections, and modern pain medications that can give them their mobility back. But they can't get that help if you write off their suffering as just old age. If your cat has stopped jumping, it is time for a senior checkup. Your cat relies on you to be their interpreter. They cannot speak our language, but they are screaming at you every single day through their behavior. The shift in routine, the layout of the litter box, the state of their coat, the volume of water they drink, and the hesitation to jump. These are their words. You are the center of their world, and you are their only line of defense against suffering. By learning these signs, you have already taken a massive step in protecting them. Do not wait for the scream. Listen to the whisper.